are these people?
Caitlin Johnstone. We haven't listened to a Caitlin Johnstone, Tim Foley piece in a while. This is a short one, and it touched both on the craziness of the ICJ and how Congress was losing their fucking minds. So go ahead,
Mr. Tim Foley. If you're listening,
which he's not,
I feel like you were destined to do Foley work. Like,
not like
you've got a good speaking voice. No, I don't even. Thank God I don't know what one of those is. But get you some watermelon, something. Get some Foley work done. I'm sure some movie would let you do that. Weta's near you guys, right? They're in Oz. Just pop over to New Zealand. Should be fine.
Well, he narrates better than I, so I'm gonna play this and then scroll with it so that you guys can read along. But I love these two. I mean, they're just incredible.
You gave him something, some weird award.
Oh, they are Indie Media Award honorees too, aren't they? Yeah, like Clarenberg, like
Oh, there we go.
Thank you. And well deserving. Inaugural class, Mount Rushmore level people here. Both Clarenberg and Johnstone, but more, I would say, Johnstone. Webb is up there. McLeod is up there. But, I don't know. We'll got a few other ones I might put up there for the fourth one. But all right, let's play this.
Today in Imperial Recklessness and Insanity. The International Criminal Court has formally issued arrest warrants for Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and former Israeli Defense Minister Yoav Gallant for war crimes and crimes against humanity. No such arrest warrants were issued for President Biden or any of the other Western officials who've been backing Israel's genocidal atrocities, which is a bit like a judge issuing a warrant for a mass murderer, but not for the guy who gave him the gun and stood next to him handing him ammunition and drove the getaway car and lied to the police to cover up the crime.
Yeah.
Nothing will come of this new development because it is completely unenforceable, and international law is only as real as the U.S. empire agrees to pretend it is. But it is a significant step in the deterioration of international consensus on Israel as the entire world watches the Zionist regime commit atrocity after atrocity right out in the open. Predictably, Benjamin Netanyahu has responded to this decision by shrieking about anti-Semitism and calling the ICC's move a modern Dreyfus trial. He is doing this because he does not have anything resembling a real argument in his defense, and neither does anyone else. We saw this illustrated in a statement from Senator Tom Cotton, who proclaimed that the U.S. would invade The Hague if the ICC tries to enforce its arrest warrants.
Fucking dumbass.
The ICC is a kangaroo court, and Karim Khan is a deranged fanatic, Cotton said. Woe to him and anyone who tries to enforce these outlaw warrants. Let me give them all a friendly reminder. The American law on the ICC is known as the Hague Invasion Act for a reason. Think about it. This is as psychotic a public statement as anything you'll see from the most far-right extremists in the Knesset. The United States is run by demented zealots with nukes, just like Israel.
Yes.
The Hague Invasion Act, formerly known as the American Service Members Protection Act, is a U.S. federal law passed during the warmongering frenzy of the early Bush administration, which authorizes the president to use all means necessary and appropriate to bring about the release of any U.S. or allied personnel being detained or imprisoned by or on behalf of or at the request of the International Criminal Court. That or allied personnel bit is why Cotton is able to cite this law in reference to an arrest warrant for Israelis. Speaking of Israel and U.S. senators, a bill by Bernie Sanders to block a shipment of tank shells to Israel was just killed in the Senate by a vote of 18 to 79. Sanders framed the bill as an effort to restrict the sale of offensive arms to Israel, making a distinction from defensive arms like the Iron Dome, which is absurd and obfuscatory to begin with. All arms to Israel are offensive rather than defensive in nature, and that they are all used to help Israel murder people without experiencing the deterrence they would receive from a retaliatory response.
100%.
There's a reason body armor is regulated in a way that's similar to firearms. It's because someone who wants to commit a violent crime can wear a bulletproof vest while doing so to ensure that they can perpetrate the crime without being stopped by police. That's exactly how Israel uses its so-called defensive weaponry. And speaking of progressive U.S. lawmakers taking feeble stands on Israel, Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez has come under fire for voting to support the House Resolution 1449, a bill which purports to simply denounce anti-Semitism, but in reality promotes the false conflation of anti-Semitic hate speech with speech that is critical of Israel. Progressive Congresswoman Ilhan Omar, who voted against the bill, said in a statement that she did so because, quote, the bill endorses the harmful definition of IHRA that dangerously conflates legitimate criticism of Israel to anti-Semitism and further harms our ability to address anti-Semitism. Everywhere you look, it's powerful criminals getting away with far too much, while the people who are supposed to be resisting them do far too little.
And still get hit for
This
it.
happens as Russia hits Ukraine with a new type of hypersonic missile, which Putin went out of his way to mention could easily have been equipped with a nuclear warhead. The attack was a warning to Ukraine for using long-range missiles supplied by the US and UK to strike targets inside Russia, and occurs as Moscow revises its nuclear doctrine, lowering the threshold for when nuclear weapons may be used.
Yep.
This is unsustainable. It cannot continue. One way or another, all this madness is going to come to an end.
Yeah.
I had a couple of thoughts going through here if you scroll down.
Today in Imperial Recklessness and in...
Go ahead.
So, back up. So no warrants were issued for Biden, right? I do believe South Africa has also put a case through for the United States and Biden specifically for being complicit. And I don't think we've done anything with that yet. I don't know if this has actually gone to the ICC yet. Granted, you know how I feel about the ICC. Again,
It's
Caitlin kind of
toothless,
mentioned
like she
it.
says. It's
Unenforceable.
It's
Yeah.
And even still,
So
Tom Cotton wants to bomb them anyway because he wants to bomb everyone.
yeah. That and the other thought I had was just like
Bullshit.
you
Bernie.
know, well, if you like scroll up to the bit from Tom Cotton, right? Bit more, right? That Hague invasion stuff, you know, I do remember recently when the ICC claimed Russia's Ukraine invasion was illegal. We tried to be like,
Yeah, ICJ,
you know, I think there was like
ICJ.
quotes from Hillary Clinton about, you know, I'm sure you probably could find stuff from Cotton specifically.
Well, also,
so I don't know.
Right now, there's most of the countries participating in the ICJ because they did get a judgment against Putin, I think.
Right.
That if he sets foot in a lot of these other countries, they were going to arrest him. I remember famously
Canada, Italy.
Well, South Africa.
I think Germany went on the other side of that. We're like,
South Africa said that they wouldn't arrest him when he showed up, if he showed up for the thing, but he sent Lavrov in his place. I think just to avoid the situation of them being confronted by the West of not arresting him by him showing up, and it would be an antagonization that he has not done anything to antagonize, with the exception of retaliating when when they've fired upon his country and when they've attacked Russian speakers and defended them, and when they've asked him to.
Yep.
I want to talk about bullshit Bernie and this nonsense here. All right. And I'm going to bring Fiorella's quote on that here. All right. Congrats on the ICC for taking 13 months to recognize that Netanyahu's a genocidal murderer. It only took hundreds of thousands of dead Palestinians, and it's still virtue signaling by trying to arrest a top Hamas official. Weak.
Yeah.
Please, Fee. Come on.
I mean, nonsense. Right. It doesn't mean shit to people getting killed right now in Gaza. Amen, Fee.
Right.
Fee, it's virtue
And
signaling.
it's been that way.
All right. She's 100% right. Love you, Fee. Subscribe to Beyond Narratives.
Why are they
Beyond
even
Headlines.
trying to, like, I mean, I guess, like, just to give the illusion there's still, you know, like, war crimes are still a thing, but we're not going to do anything about it. I mean, I don't know what powers they have to do that. You
But
know?
this further harms our ability to address anti-Semitism.
Yeah.
You know what's
From
causing
Omar,
anti-Semitism? It's
Yeah.
Israel bombing the shit out of children is causing the most anti-Semitism in the world, and nobody in Congress wants to talk about that.
And also,
Fuck
which
these
is it?
people.
Is it a religion or is it a race? Because I think the freedom of speech thing means that we can, like, call out religions and their shitty practices, which
Well,
we're doing,
Yes.
which somehow that's anti-Semitism. Like, I'm not talking about your noses or your penchant for penny
Oh, that's
pension.
antiseptic right
Like-
there. Come on.
Yes, very much so. But, you know, like, me calling out that 90% of your religion seems to be more than okay with committing a genocide, or what? How much square feet?
Because they've all been brainwashed and only told half the story. And that's the problem.
Yes.
And again, I've been fascinated.
Yes, but the reason they are is because of the stupid fucking religion that people fucking need to feel good at night.
But it's not.
You know,
it's
they want
more
something to
than
do on
religion.
Sundays.
It's more than religion. It's
Saturdays.
It's nationalism
Yes.
on top of it. All right. It's hyper nationalism tied into religion. You know, they always talked about it here, you know, being carrying a Bible and draped in an American flag. There it carries a Torah and it's draped in an Israeli flag. It's literally the same fucking thing.
Well, and I swear it wasn't that long ago before we were all complaining about the Vatican and the Dalai Lama's group and like, to me, it's a pretty consistent take. And all those fucking big named atheists, I'm looking at you, Hitchens, and fucking,
Well, he's dead.
you know, yes, but, like, who was the other one that Due Dissidents yelled at recently? Dawkins, Stephen Fry, like, Russell Brand used to be. I'm thinking of another one. Gervais. Where are they at on this? Why does Judaism get a pass?
Because their bosses are all Jewish. That's, you know.
Oh, I forgot.
Sorry, you know, a Jewish guy can say it, but now I'm a self-hating Jew. You know, I should have brought it. Zay Squirrel put up a 4-minute Mearsheimer video where he talks to a German woman, and specifically he says, even if you're Jewish, it doesn't matter. Look what they've done to Norman Finkelstein. Look what they've done to Norman Solomon, who's tepid, like, in his criticism. They've tried to destroy these guys. Look what they're doing to Max Blumenthal and Aaron Mate and Katie Halper, Dan Cohen, Alex Rubinstein, all of them, like all of us. And I put myself in, but they're not coming after me. They don't even know who the fuck I am. Thankfully, it's why I stay anonymous, because I see what they're doing to these guys. And very few of them have families. Now, Max has a kid now. I mean, but Max also has a father who's tied to the Clintons. I don't. Talking about stuff like that definitely is why we will never be remonetized. My guess is on YouTube. So if you do appreciate if you do appreciate the reporting and journalism like this and stories like this, let us keep the lights on, keep doing this. Please join that wall of fame if you haven't already. All these awesome people already have. Easiest way to do that is Cash App. If you've got that, $ Indie News Network, INDIE. All right, Ko-fi.com, PayPal, Patreon. There's also INNnewsletter.com you see going across the scroll. All right, there you can support that with a monthly